What is going on, guys? Steph53 doing another video, and welcome back to an episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time we left off, things are continuing to get real. Now the blame from Kraus has turned to Hideyoshi, who apparently has issues with his company. So yeah, let's just continue from here. It's hard to say whether he should be viewed as a kind-hearted manager immersed in the work of management, or a foolish manager who has feet swept from under him. Oh yeah, it's like it was with the stocks. And they were talking about that if you buy enough stocks, you can control the company. I'm assuming that's where it's getting at least. In other words, there existed some people who wouldn't let him get away with that naivety unscathed. They began repeatedly buying up stock in Hideyoshi's company, rapidly gaining such strength that they couldn't be ignored. They then sent anonymous documents to shareholders in an attempt to gain control of a majority. The documents read, "The current management continues to make pointless investments and is ignoring the needs of the stockholders. Let us force the current management to retire, cut the current wasted investments, and let this company be born again as one that gives more back to the stockholders." It's very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. The fruits of Hideyoshi's sleepless nights and constant concern for his company were cruelly distorted, and he lost the trust of his stockholders. Thanks to these efforts, this group had almost collected a majority of the company's stock. At that point, even Hideyoshi noticed and started to buy back the stock, but the stockholders realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, and each demanded a ridiculous price for the shares that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. They continuously tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway in the negotiation of the price. One of the certainties of capitalism is that the price will rise when two parties vie for the same thing. And one of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything. So in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stock wins. Put another way, whoever has the most money wins. Unless Hideyoshi can obtain a large sum of money at this critical time, he could easily lose all he had built so far. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. He couldn't wait for the division of Kinzo's inheritance since no one knew when he would die.
Rudolf の方も最近は大変だそうじゃないかね。
Oh, he's gonna turn the
海
blame
外は
on him
怖いと
too.
よく言うが、本当にそうらしいな。
Yeah, no,
アメリカの
Kraus
裁
just
判
like
は極めて感
everyone
情
was
的に
blaming
決
him,
まる。
and his wife was just like, "We have to do something," and he's just chilling, taking it. I guess he actually was smart after all.
彼らは外国人に
I
寛
was just
大
gonna
な
ignore
判
it.
決など出しはしない。先方と和解した方が結局は安上がりになると、弁護士に忠告を受けたんじゃないのかね。
何の話?
Oh my god, Kiwi has finally said a line after an entire episode and a half. Oh my god.
まあ仕事上のトラブルさ。大したことじゃない。金で切りのつく話さ。
Kiri immediately guessed the meaning behind the subtle expression on Rudolph's face. Her husband had gotten wrapped up in some kind of trouble without her knowledge, and had been worrying over it alone.
その通りさ。世の中なんだって金で蹴りのつく。失った兄弟の絆だって買い戻せるようにな。アメリカは権利侵害などにはうるさい国だ。だが金さえあれば何でも和解できる。資本主義万歳だよ。もっとも和解金は数百万ドルにも及びそうだとの噂もあるがね。
Rudolf had been building a large amount of wealth with a certain type of niche industry. However, a niche is a niche. It definitely wasn't a business exposed to the light of day. An American corporate giant was trying to accuse Rudolph's company of violating their rights. Okay, I know I shouldn't laugh, but that's funny. For various reasons, it was thought that victory for Rudolph in this trial would be extremely unlikely, and he was being forced into an all-out surrender. But even so, there were ways for this to be resolved with money. If he could just pay that money, it might... I kind of get the point. The point of everything is that these issues that they're just getting paid off. But if he didn't pay, he'd lose everything. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money. Yeah, no, he's getting to the point of everyone. Yeah, Rosa's next. He's exposing all the
危険な
families.
マネーゲームなどには手を出さない。だが、お人よしな性分が災いしたんじゃないか。連
Therefore,
帯保証
she
人
needs a
は
lot of money.
気安く引き受けるものではないと思うがね。
それはクラウス兄さんとは関係
Rosa uncharacteristically laid bare her emotions and yelled. After all, no one was supposed to know that. As Kraus watched, he let slip a muffled laugh. Without exception, every one of them, more than anything else, wanted a lot of money right now. In other words, the situation had been reversed. After all, the person with the younger sibling was threatening was the only one who had no urgent need for a large sum of money. The other three, however, wanted a lot of money quickly no matter the cost. In other words, the longer it took to establish the deal, the better position Kraus would be in. Kraus was extremely sly. He had known of their Achilles' heel from the beginning. Even so, he had not been certain. Therefore, he had hidden this knowledge until the very end, striking back only after analyzing their attitudes.
私もできることなら可愛い弟や妹たちの危機に金を工面してやりたいと思っているんだが
Okay, I kind of like this guy. That's
残念な
smart.
ことに持ち合わせ
I
が
know
な
that's
くて
kind of like an asshole thing, but kind of they're all being
7
assholes. So
億
it's
半もの
funny.
大金が工面できるスポンサーに心当たりがあるなら先にそちらを当たってもらいたいのだよ
Kraus's omitted words were so obviously detached from what he actually felt. The other siblings could do nothing more than listen, grinding their teeth. If they could think of a sponsor that convenient, they wouldn't have kept up this charade. They had entered this huge battle specifically because they had exhausted all other options.
もしお前たちがどうしてもこの兄を頼りたいというなら私の口利きでスポンサーを探してやってもよいのだがねおっと私にはそんなものはいないと言っていたか
Oh my god.
それではどうにも
The
ならん
tables have
ね
turned. Kraus's low, gloating laugh began to fill the parlor. The younger siblings who had been driving the oldest brother into a corner until a moment ago could do nothing more than grimace and grind their teeth.
エヴァ
冗談じゃないわ。兄さんに借りなんか作れるもんですか。冗談じゃない。冗談じゃない。
クラウス兄さんを頼ったらどう助けてくれるの？
言ったではないか私にできるのは他のスポンサーを探すだけだよもちろん利息を融通してもらえるようには最大限交渉するがね
ちくしょう足元見やがって
あなた落ち着いて
落ち着いてるぜ俺は極めて冷静だぜクソったりが
Kiri grabbed her husband's hand, but that accent made him feel even more pitiful, so Rudolf shook it off. Kraus laughed as thought watching something highly amusing.
こんな時本当に親父殿の隠し黄金が見つかればいいんだがねそうすればすぐに25億ずつをこの場で切り分けてやれるのだが
If they really want the money, they could just storm his room right now. I guarantee
非
they
常に
could take
極
on
め
the
て実
servants
に
and
ど
win.
うしようもなく残念だ
Plus, Sanon's busy with
今
cooking
宵
duty
は
right
兄弟
now.
みんなで酒を酌み交わしながら
Canon is probably being
親
an
父殿
emo
の
right
隠し黄
now,
金
and the others are an old lady, an old man, and it's 4v1 against
ベア
Dota,
トリーチェ
so
の
yeah.
碑文の謎をみんなで解き明かしてみようじゃないかね仲良し兄弟が4人揃えばきっと解けない謎はないはずさ
Ah, yes, he's nice and evil. Great. Back to the cousins. Honestly, to be honest, I kind of like their thing better. Oh. Kinzo?
面白いことをする
Is he gonna start screaming about Beatrice again?
それ
Please
で
don't.
その突きつけた条件と
Like,
いうのは
he's an
何
interesting
か
character and all, but that was annoying last time.
クラウス様は黄金の発見を問わずにその分け前としてエヴァ様
Oh,
Rudolf
Canon respond.
ローザ様に
I'm so happy to hear from
計
Canon
75億円
again.
を支払う
Honestly, he's a character that I see a lot of cool potential
た
in.
だしその1割を3月までに支払うこと
クラウスの間抜けめ弟たちに足をさらわれるとはな実に愉快ではないかしかし 詰めが甘いようだな。
はい。クラウス様はそれをエヴァ様以下お三人が緊急に大金を用立てする必要があるためとカンパされました。
その程度のことはカンパできるのか。中途半端に無能な男め。今はどうしている？
話は一度中断されました。今はベアトリーチェ様の碑文の話をされています。
私の黄金がどこに隠されているのか、その謎を解こうとか。
yes, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
はい。
Kinzo set down his spectacles and snorted.
奇跡の成就が先か。愚か者どもが黄金を暴くのが先か。実に見ものではないか。愚か者どもが我が謎を解き明かしたなら、その時は私の全ての敗北だ。我が屍を骨のひとかけらまでしゃぶり尽くすがいい。愚か者どもの貪欲さが偉大なる魔法に奇跡を宿らせるのだ。だがもし奇跡の成就が先だったなら、先だったならベアトリーチェは再び蘇る。
No, stop.
私が反省をかけて追い求めた
No, come on.
あの美少が
You're an interesting character. Just
お
don't.
ーベアトリーチェ、奇跡を落とす聖なる夜がやってくるぞ。悪魔たちとのゲームが始まるぞ。私はきっ
Why is the
と打
text
ち勝つ。
suddenly
絶
displaying
対
weird?
に生き残る。他の奴らの命はくれてやる。富も名誉も財産も黄金も何もいらぬ。ただお前の微笑みがもう一度見たいだけなのだ。
Kinzo choked, apparently in great pain. Kanan got closer and tried to pat his master's back, but Kinzo motioned for him to stop.
なぜ私が黄金の隠し場所をわざわざ人目に触れるように晒したかわかるか？
いえ。
魔法の力はリスクで決まるからだ。ベアトリーチェの黄金を暴こうとする人間が多ければ多いほど、その危険が高まれば高まるほどに、それでもなお成就できたとき、
Yeah, no, Beatrice is
魔
definitely
法
getting
の力
summoned.
は偉大なる奇
I
跡を
don't see
起こ
that
せる
not
のだ。
happening ever.
魔法とはつまりゲームなのだよ。優れている者が勝者になるのではない。勝者には魔法が与えられ優れるのだ。わかるか？生命の奇跡が数億分の1という神々しい確率に勝利するからこそ与えられるようにな。お前には少し難しいか？
申し訳ございません。
よい。つまりはこういうことだ。ベアトリーチェの碑文の謎を解いた者には、私が築き上げてきた全てを与えよう。
Maria's gonna solve it.
富、
She'll get all the
名
cookies she
誉、
wants.
黄金、そして後ろ宮家の家督。私が築き上
But
げ
as I
て
was
き
saying
た
before, I
全
kind
て
of
だ。
am rooting for like the cousins out of everyone else because they just all seem like
そ
good
の
people.
謎に挑
The
む資
adults
格がある
kind
の
of
は
don't really seem
何
like the
も
best of
私の
people.
息子たちだけと
Cousins
は
kind of just
限ら
vibing,
ぬ。
just like, hey, yeah, sup, we haven't seen each other in 6 years, and the adults are just like, give me the
たと
money.
えお前であっても、その謎を解けたなら全てを売る資格があるのだ。
はい。
I can't tell my opinion of him. Like, I like him as a character, though the last segment where he was just crying over Beatrice, I felt went on a little too long.
ですが、僕にはあのような難しい謎は分かりかねます。
無論だ。難解に作った。だがお前も挑め。それが我が魔法の奇跡を呼ぶ糧となる。誰もが挑み、誰にも至れなかったら、その時はその時。だが奇跡が集い、魔法の力が生まれたなら、その時こそ ベアトリーチェがよみがえるのだ。だからお前も挑め。
Don't even say Beatrice's
誰
name.
もが挑め。そして我が魔法に力を捧げるのだ。わかるな。
はい、努力します。
For a long while, Kinzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching at his head. Ken stayed where he was, alert and unmoving, until he was given the next order from his master. Kinzo eventually realized this.
もうよい。下がれ。酒棚に菓子の袋があろう。ダチンに持っていくがよい。
結構です。僕は家具ですから。
ふん。家具は菓子など食わぬか。道理だが。ならばもう下がれ。
はい、失礼いたします。
Ken bowed and left the study. As the door closed, a heavy walking noise sounded it. Well, is the clock gonna move again? Or are we just changing scenes? But it was not the sound of Ken walking the door. It was the door walking automatically. No one could enter without Kinzo's permission. Once they left, they couldn't enter again. That isn't good if this is a murder mystery visual novel and you have one of the characters is stuck in a room that they can open it, but no one can open from the outside. Oh. Servants. Haven't seen them in a little bit.
いかがなさいましたか。
Well, specifically some of them.
源氏さん、いや何、居場所がなくなりましてな。
With a bitter laugh, Nanzo turned to face the door to the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genzi what Nanzo wanted to say. For the most part, Genzi also understood that family's situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the lounge the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression.
しかし、私には分かりませんな。どうして金蔵さんはこんな挑発的なものを書かれたのでしょう。
Are they gonna try and solve it too? Nanzo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait and at the plate with the epitaph.
私には親方様のお考えは分かりかねます。深いお考えがあってのこととお察しします。
金蔵さんのチェスは昔から随分と遠大な読みで布石を打たれるものでした。いや、時には理解できない一手さえ、私ごとき凡庸では何を目論まれているのか皆目見。
私はこれを親方様の何かの遺言状ではないかとか、それを理解できた。
So I wonder.
財産や家督をお譲りになられようという。
Has anyone's character bios been updated yet? Because it said that they'd update them every now and then. No one seems to have anything different. Yeah, no, I guess they just didn't change.
つまり私のようなよそ者に解かれてしまう前に、
I guarantee that's
兄
not
弟
what he
4人で
wants.
協力
He
し合っ
hates
て
them
謎を
all.
解け。金蔵さんは息子さんたちのことを口悪く罵ってはいますが、なんとか兄弟が仲を取り戻してほしいと願われているのかもしれません。
It certainly would be heartwarming if Nanzo had suggested this epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship. However, both Nanzo and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They'd known Kinzo longer than anyone, and Kinzo trusted them more than his own relatives. But even they could not guess at his true motives.
親方様は一族のものでなくとも謎に挑む資格があると常々おっしゃっています。南條先生はいかがですか。
いやいや、この老いぼれには少々難解が過ぎますな。実は以前この碑文を手帳に記しましてな。夜な夜な寝る前に挑んでみたのですが実に難しい。
I really wish I could read it. The reader, would like a chance to solve it. Anyone is allowed, he just said.
レイジさんこそいかがですか。
私めは親方様にお仕え
Oh my
する
God.
家具に過ぎません。
It's just so depressing whenever the servants say that they're furniture.
私には
やれやれ。本当に謙虚
Yeah,
な
and
方
anytime
です。
someone says that they're furniture,
だから
everyone's just
こ
like,
そ
yeah, I know
金
it's
蔵さん
okay.
もあなたには
Yeah, I know you're
心を許
furniture.
されるのでしょう。
ならば光栄なことです。
As Nanzo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph.
懐かしき
Oh,
故郷を貫
it
く
is.
鮎
It's
の
here.
川。
Okay, sweet fish river running through my
黄
beloved
金鏡
hometown.
を目指す者よ。
You who seek the
これ
golden
を
land,
下
follow
り
its
て
path
鍵を
downstream.
探せ。
Okay, the epitaph on the portrait called My Beloved Witch Beatrice goes as follows. Behold the sweet... Okay, follows this path downstream. Okay, so, like, stream. As you travel down it, you'll see a village. In that village, look for the sword the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. The one who obtains the key must travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifice. What? Sacrifice? Okay. I think that the first murder is possibly going to be 6 people as sacrifices. I mean, the second twilight, those who remain shall teleport the 2 who are close. Interesting. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. Okay, so on the fifth, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh night, gouge the knee and kill. On the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, a journey's end, you shall attain the power. Okay. In the witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall... Okay. So, I think it's saying one shall be the resurrection of all dead souls, one shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. But he just said none will be left. That means that everyone's going to die. Okay, I'm a little confused myself, but like, it doesn't sound that hard. It's just like, go to the river, look for it, buy there, and then, like, ignore the stuff where it talks about the twilights and stuff. That's probably going to, that's going to be important, but like, the main focus is getting the key, and then once you get the key, that will happen. Oh yeah, we finally going to the freaking beach after 2 episodes. Yeah.
第10の晩に旅は終わり、
Oh, they're talking
黄
about
金
the
鏡
thing.
に至るだろうか。
Okay, so
しか
It
し
is
マリア
possible
は
to
豆だ
survive.
な。ちゃんとメモしてるとは偉いぜ。
マリアは忘れっぽいからちゃんと書く。ママに言われたからちゃんと書く。
there was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored of it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure.
まず1行目。懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川か。じい様の故郷ってどこだっけ？
戦前の後ろ宮家は小田原のあたりに屋敷を構えてたって聞いたぜ。で、となりゃ小田原に流れてる鮎の泳ぐ川に関心がいくわけだろ。
Oh no, if only Cannon took the sweets, he could dump them in the river and just be like, boom, it's a sweet fish river.
まずはその川が起点になるからな。んで、黄金鏡を目指す者はそいつを下って鍵を探せとあるわけだ。小田原にある川ってなんだ？鮎が泳ぐ川だぜ。
小田原で鮎って言ったら早川だろうね。渓流釣りで有名だよ。
マリア魚嫌い。
マリアももう少し大きくなったらわかるぜ。鮎の塩焼きをベロベロベロってな。うまいぜ。 さっき飯食ったばっかりだってのに、もう腹が減ってきちまうぜ。
ビスケットでもお持ちしましょうか？
悪い悪い。そんなつもりで言ったんじゃないぜ。気にすんな。
Sansan was faithfully keeping us company since he didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that since he's a servant accompanying us, would force her to take care of us and tire out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was sort of a worker whose room and board was supplied by her employer. So normally the only person close to her age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull.
さて、小田原で愛の川って言えば早川だってことは分かった。となりゃ下るしかねえよな。早川を下ると何があるんだろうな。
下流に出て海に出ると思います。
そうさ、河口部に出る。そして碑文の3行目には川を下ればちなみにそういう河口部は大抵大昔から輸送の要衝になってて大きな都市があるもんさ。ここが次のチェックポイントだな。
なかなかいい筋だね。バトラ君の想像通り、そこは大昔にとても栄えたことだよ。小田原城があるところだね。
修学旅行で小田原城に行った気がします。素敵なお城でしたよ。
私も小田原城だったぜ。洋館に住んでてなんだが、やっぱり日本人は和風の方が落ち着くよな。
マリア、お城退屈。遊園地がいい。
そうかそうか。よしよし。黄金を見つけたら、このバトラ様が気前よく遊園地を一日借り切って遊ばせてやるぜ。しかし小田原城の隠し黄金。こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな。
2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
小田原
common.
で
Like this
鮎
sounds
の
like
泳
an
ぐ
easy
川を
riddle,
下っ
but
た
it's
里。そこが多分小田原城あたりだろうってところまでは。問題は次の行だろう。さて、バトラの鎮水理はどこまでいけるか見ものだぜ。
Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved this puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I would definitely find it and keep it all for myself.
4行目。その里にて2人が口にし岸を探れ。2人ってのが何のことかわからねえが、とにかく岸だな。で、岸ってなんだよ。岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな。
曽我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。
おお、詳しいな。ってことはなんだよ。シャノンちゃんも黄金を狙って謎解きに挑戦してるんだな。となりゃ俺たちはライバルだぜ。
別に黄金なんて興味は、ただ以前にジョージ様から教えてもらっただけで。
2年前の私たちも同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。
小田原城の北に5キロくらいだったかな。そこには確かに曽我岸という地名があるよ。でもそこからがわからないんだ。次の5行目にはその土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。マリアちゃん、読んでくれるかい？
そこに黄金鏡への鍵が眠る。読めた。
曽我岸ったって広いだろうし、かつてそこに後宮家の家があったわけでもない。その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されててノーヒントってんじゃ。こいつはお手
You
上げ
can
って
just
わけ
do
だ
what
ぜ。
Kinzo did and buy the land for a project and then just keep it as yourself.
確かにな。鍵が手に入らないことには
Keep it for yourself.
その先の行に進めないぜ。ジョージ兄貴、曽我岸ってのはどんなとこなんだ？
さあね、行ったことはないからわからないけど、地図によると 山の中みたいだよ。確か浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。
なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのはもっとぴったりとはまるもんじゃねえの。どうも蘇我騎士ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。
私は蘇我騎士を疑ってるぜ。私たちが知らないだけで、例えばじい様の子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。一行目に懐かしき故郷をって行があるくらいだもんな。シャノンはじい様によく酒とか継がされてたろ。昔話とか聞かされたことないのか。
親方様は昔の話はほとんど。ただ後ろ宮家が滅びかけた関東大震災について、非常に関東地方よりずっと遠方にお住まいだったかもしれません。
後宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、おじい様はよく自分のことを分家も分家、跡継ぎに最も縁遠かったと言われるくらいだからね。
ってことはつまり懐かしき故郷ってのがすでに小田原じゃない可能性もあるってことだな。
じい様の故郷なんて聞いたこともないぜ。聞いても素直に教えちゃくれねえだろうしよ。
I doubt he'll actually ever talk to you.
懐かしき故郷というのが後宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。もちろん蘇我騎士の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども、例えば幼少の頃を小田原で過ごし、その後遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし。
おお、さっきから何の話かわかんない。
Maria had been completely left out of the conversation. She was now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom.
つまりだな、黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには何も始まらないってことだぜ。最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ。鍵なんてなくても扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ。とりあえず最初の5行をすっ飛ばしてその先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか。
おお、その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どうせ暇つぶしなんだ。続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。
でもその先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
San frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree.
第1の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよう。いきなり物騒になるな。
第2の番には寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。恋仲を破談させるのか、文字通り引き裂くという意味なのかわかりかねるけど、どっちにせよ気持ちの悪い話だぜ。
そ
の第2の番の解釈を別にしても、第1の番に6人、第4の番から第8の番までで5人、少なく見積もっても11人が生贄にされなきゃならない。
ベアトリーチェが蘇るための生贄。
なるほど、魔女復活のための生贄か。そういう解釈にもなるな。その結果第9の番に魔女が蘇って。
Wait, there's how much people on this island? Hold up. System 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so we already have the cousins in Sen, and then we can just kill everyone, maybe save Ken, and then get the money. Easy.
最後は極めつけだな。
My mind is elsewhere.
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。結局はみんな死んでしまいます。
Then how will anyone get the money?
それでようやく次の第10の番にゴールってことになってんな。みんな死んじまうのに黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても困ったもんだぜ。
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね。
しかしよ、最後のところには面白いことが書いてあるぜ。ゴールした後、魔女からもらえる4つの宝の行だよ。一つは全ての黄金、 問題は次だ。すべての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
それを言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせ、第二の晩の寄り添いし二人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
そうだね。そして4つ目も第9の晩にかけてある。第9の晩に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
好意的に解釈すりゃ死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが、最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。目覚めた魔女も再び眠るし、手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
死んだり蘇らせたり別れさせたりくっつかせたりと、魔女様はお忙しいこったな。
Sounds weird.
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
Sounds like a nice life.
やれやれ。せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急に
Don't
う
say
さん
that in
く
front
違い
of
ない
Maria.
な。
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing at Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも生き返らせることも愛を与えることも奪うことも、空も飛べるし姿を透明にできるし、黄金もパンも生み出せる。いけね。
悪い悪い、冗談だよ。
Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and, opening it to some other pages, tried to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and well conveyed the fantastical magic image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of crooked nose head flying around on a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wear a beautiful dress. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl, flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much she poured into it. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph which affirmed the existence of witches, because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream.
マリアちゃんにとっては、これは黄金の隠し場所を魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George and Nikki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Sansa timidly opened her mouth.
マリア様、ご存知ですか？私たち使用人の間では、ベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
そうだったっけ。シャドン、聞かせてやれよ。私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
何の話だ？怪談？
うん。僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしい。母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
はい。この島にお屋敷が建てられてから、当時の使用人たちは、お屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいると囁き合っていたそうです。
The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, the ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか、消したはずの明かりがついていたり、つけたはずの明かりが消えていたり、置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり、置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり、そういうことがあるたびに古い使用人たちは 魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていった。ほら、いる。ベアトリーチェはいる。
ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh as thought this was final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be an eerie.
他にも
Be an eerie,
お
what
に
the
ぎや
hell?
輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁き合ってるんですよ。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
ひゅー、そりゃ怖えな。
怯えることはないんですよ。ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもうだから変に怯えたりしないで敬意を持っていれば決して悪いことはしないのだそうです。
ただし敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
はい、私が勤めを始める直前にベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。だから使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。バトラとジェシカ、きっとお怒りに触れる。
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing.
わあ、悪かったぜ。お怒りに触れちゃたまるねえ。謝るよ、マリア。もちろん、魔女様にも謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ言と思って勘弁してやってください。
私も謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな？
わかんない。魔女は気まぐれだから、許してくれるときは許してくれるし、許さないときは許さない。
それは困ったね。マリアちゃん、バトラ君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにするいいおまじないとかないかな。何か魔除けとかさ。
By relying on Maria, who is proud of knowing the most about witches, George is trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and to seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently, Grandfather wasn't the only one with the black magic hobby. When Maria finally found out what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She then began fishing through the bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back, saying they were wrong. It was, however, a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. I grabbed it and saw there was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade? Well, no, I've never seen those in arcade games. There were two of them, probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were two of them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it prettier to think of it as magical items.
これを私とバトラに？
このお守りならベアトリーチェも大丈夫。サソリは魔除けの力があるから。
そうなのか？ サソリにそんな力がね
パトラが信じない。
I said too much and angered Maria again. Maria took out a notebook again, pointing out various pages he went on to... He just said he didn't know.
あ、他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもある。
へえ、そうなのか。
ああ、サソリは悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。そしてエメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれる。だから二重で効果がある。
ほんとだ。サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
I really wanted to make fun of those worthless looking charms, but as I watched Maria explaining with over her and realized that she found them for her sake, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize for some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that.
そっか。ありがとな。ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一たたりがある時でも、マリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。な、ジェシカ。
ああ、そうだぜ。ありがとうな、マリア。
心に平安が欲しいときは腕につける。お財布に入れるとお金が減らなくなる。ドアノブにかけておくと悪いものが入ってこられなくなる。
Wait.
便利なお守り。
I feel like everything that she's saying is going to
それ
happen.
はすごい効能ですね。マ
Like
リア
I'm
様
picking
が
up
自信を持
vibes
って
that
進める
people
お
are
守
gonna
りなら
start dying in
きっと
really
頼もしいものと
magical
思います。
ways. By magical, I mean like they're gonna be man-made, but it's gonna appear like it's magic. Santan clasped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It was probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa had San had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to her questions. Each time, George and Nikki and Samson would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after... No, not freely. You're technically having to, like, say something to avoid Beatrice's wrath or something.
今、額にポタって来なかったかい？
どうだろうな。
As George and Nikki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it would have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
ほう、マリアポタッと来ない。マリアだけ来ない。
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。それに今夜になれば誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
そうだね。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかな。
San-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now.
もう仕事に戻る時間かよ。
はい、皆様と一緒でありがとうございました。
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
San-chan declined her help, saying that this was a servant's job, but picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. We folded up the blankets, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
ゴミが逃げる。
そいつは逃がさないぜ。マリアより先にいただきだ。
マリアが拾う。
マリア、靴を濡らすなよ。怒られるぜ。
Tamura chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George and Nikki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だ。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
また後でね。お仕事頑張ってね。
それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, San-san ran towards the rose garden.
じゃあ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。 テレビでも見てくつろがせてもらうさ。
テレビ見る
なら決まりだな。戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the central stairs and returned to the Rose Garden. A lot of stairs. The wind... Oh, okay. There's no middle ground background. It's just either bad weather or good weather. The wind had grown very strong and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples in water. This might be our last chance to see those beautiful roses. I bet tonight's typhoon ruins them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
花はいつか必ず散る。でもだからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
Right then, Maria suddenly clasped her hands. It looked like she'd remembered something. Oh yeah, her.
マリアのバラ台風で飛ばされちゃう。
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらっ
That's
た。
not what you should say.
あの元気のないバラか。
Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな。確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds bringing up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden unendurable. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。ん？なんだよ、マリア。
As we made to split up, Maria tugged at my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot.
なんだよ、どうした？
マリアのバラはここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して。
Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at the spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through the rose thicket. What if it was one of the roses served with the meal? Maybe she's saying that it should be here but isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated.
マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
One of us has to sneak out. Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. We could see Aunt Rose in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming back from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら、どうしたのみんな。何か探し物なの？
探して。ママもマリアのバラを探して。
マリアのバラって？
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけ。
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃすぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ他の場所だったと思うぜ。
What if it did?
マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか？
And I'm probably gonna end here since it is around 54 minutes into the recording. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. That's great. Appreciate it. Hopefully next time we will find the rose. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye.